Crypto markets have shown impressive signs of life in the last month. After a brutal crypto winter, we're seeing hope on the horizon that Bitcoin and other major cryptos are headed back towards their all-time highs and beyond, potentially ushering in another explosive bull market just like in 2021, 2017, and 2013. And this has caught many people by surprise. So many people on social media have been flooding your timeline with ideas like, this time is different, we're going into a recession, Bitcoin's gonna go down in the second half of 2023 just like it did in 2019, or we have to wait for the Bitcoin halving to happen in 2024 before anything happens for the next cycle. But what if the entire crypto space has actually been in a bull market for all of 2023 and nobody's noticed? What if the 4-year halving cycle thesis is complete garbage? And what if everything everyone is saying online about crypto is just dead wrong? And what if the future for crypto is much brighter and much more exciting than people expect? Well, that's what I want to explore in this video today as a blockchain developer myself, who's been through multiple crypto cycles ever since 2017. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to get ahead of the next crypto wave and become a blockchain master, then I can show you how to do that step-by-step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's talk about why everybody could be completely wrong about the future of crypto. Now, sadly, nothing I'm saying in this video is that be financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. And sadly, I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen in the future of crypto, but I do want to offer some alternative perspectives because as you'll see in this video, many assumptions that people have about the crypto markets have been completely proven wrong this year. All right, now I put this tweet out at the beginning of October saying, imagine this, Bitcoin hits, $40,000 to $45,000 in Q4 of 2023. And you look back on 2023 and realize, hey, this entire year was a bull market and nobody even realized it throughout the process. And if you go back and look at the price of Bitcoin for all of 2023, it basically looks just like that. Now, at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin hasn't hit $40,000 just yet. Who knows, it might have by the time this video releases. But that's the whole point. So many people throughout this entire year were saying, oh, it's only going to be a sideways year, or it's going to be just like 2019 where it goes up for half the year, peaks in the middle, and then enters into another bear trend into the following year. But that is not what happened. And so you have to ask yourself two questions. Number one, why was everybody wrong? And number two is what has actually happened? Well, number one, let's look at why was everybody wrong, okay? Well, there's this temptation to basically try to look at what happened in the past and copy and paste that onto the present circumstances or even the future, okay? But that's a complete fallacy because, what happened in the past was shaped by a unique set of circumstances, and those circumstances don't always exist right now to produce the same type of outcomes. And so if that's true, what are they wrong about? What else are they wrong about? Well, one big thing that I think could be complete BS is the idea of the 4-year halving cycles, okay? So I've talked about these a lot on my channel. They could be a factor, but it's a widely held belief that Bitcoin just follows these magic 4-year cycles dictated by the Bitcoin halving, which is coming up in 2024. So basically, every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin produced by the blockchain gets cut in half. And the whole idea here is as you have less Bitcoin entering into the marketplace, that reduced supply or reduced inflation of the supply has a big impact on the price of Bitcoin because now there's less available on the market, and that causes the price to go up by simple supply and demand economics. If you have supply and demand and you decrease the supply or the rate of inflation, then that causes the price to go up. But there's a big problem with this. It only takes into account one side of the equation, which is the supply side of things. It does not take into the demand side of the equation. So the demand has to either stay the exact same or go up significantly in order to see massive price appreciation. And really that second part, the demand, is the bigger factor. And so what if the halving hasn't really had that much to do with the price of Bitcoin since it was ever launched, okay? What if something else has a bigger factor? What if it's actually the business cycle? Okay, and that's something that a lot of people are starting to talk about, which is basically the overall economy follows cycles just like crypto does, where it goes through this period of expansion and then also contraction, okay? And you also have to factor into what's happening with interest rates and monetary policy during that time. And that this constantly ebbs and flows, and that these cycles might explain the past of cryptocurrency price performance better than the halving, And what if that can explain what's going to happen with the cryptocurrency prices going forward? Well, these don't necessarily always magically line up with 4-year cycles, and we could be entering into an economic expansion, actually, despite people think, faster than the 4-year halving cycle for Bitcoin. And so what are some implications of this? Well, it means that Bitcoin could put in new all-time highs sooner than people think. See, there's this common assumption that we have to wait for the Bitcoin halving to happen before Bitcoin starts making new all-time highs. And lots of people are just, anticipating that Bitcoin's going to break, $60,000 plus at the end of 2024, maybe beginning of 2025, and have a 6 to 12 month blow off top period after that. But what if they're completely wrong, just like this other stuff? What if we get a new all-time high, say in, Q1 of 2024, or even at the end of 2023? That opens the doors for something completely unexpected that could throw a curveball. And if that does, things could happen. They could accelerate extremely quickly. And one way that the future could actually look like the past is when things start getting crazy in crypto space, they start getting crazy really fast. If you were here during the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, we broke our prior all-time high, and people thought, okay, we're going to have this nice year-long bull market, but Bitcoin tripled in value within the matter of 6 to 8 weeks. And that could happen again a lot sooner than people think. Now, that being said, what are other factors that could push this really fast Bitcoin acceleration to new all-time highs off schedule, sooner than people think? Well, the ETF approval is probably the biggest thing that's top of mind right now. If you're not familiar with this is, basically ETF just stands for exchange traded funds. That lets people, hold Bitcoin inside of a fund where you can buy shares in that fund just like you would in a stock. You might have heard of index funds. It's the same type of thing. Many people have their name in the hat for a Bitcoin fund. One of the biggest ones, of course, is BlackRock, the $10 trillion asset manager, which has a near zero rate for ETF denials. Said another way, pretty much every ETF they ever apply for gets approved. And an ETF can have massive buy pressure on Bitcoin itself for several reasons, okay? But the main one I want to talk about is, the famous quote, which is, show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcome. Well, people like BlackRock, institutions like BlackRock have massive incentive to get people to use their ETF product. So if they get a Bitcoin ETF approved, you have to understand it's a $10 trillion asset manager that manages massive amounts of money, and they're going to be incentivized to get people in the fund for a couple reasons. Number one is they have commissions off of the assets that they actually get under management and continue to keep under management. And so regardless of what happens to the Bitcoin price, they're going to make commissions off of this type of thing. Now, that being said, they're going to want the price to perform well so they continue to get new capital into that space, which also is another really good sign for the long-term price appreciation of Bitcoin as well. And think about it this way. BlackRock is a $10 trillion asset manager. At the time I record this video, the crypto market cap's about $1 trillion, so it's 10 times the size, all right? It's not like all that money's going into crypto. But let's say you just had a 1% allocation for this, capital. Well, that's a pretty prudent investment strategy, especially for a large amount of money. And if 1% of all that money went to the crypto space, it would have a massive price impact on the price of Bitcoin, because you have to understand it's about the amount of Bitcoins actively being traded on the market. And if you put 1% of $1 trillion into the crypto space, that's a recipe for insane explosion. And they are completely incentivized to do this. And there's two reasons I want to bring this up. Number one, obviously, is a long-term outlook, but talking about how crypto could go off these expected schedule that everyone thinks is this could go live, within a few months, all right? And if it does, then we could be ahead of schedule, okay? Not to mention the fact, before it even goes live, people could try to front run this opportunity. Because we saw, a fake news tweet go out about a Bitcoin ETF approval, and it caused the price to jump like crazy. And so imagine what happens when the real thing gets approved. Things start heating up really fast, even if it happens before the Bitcoin halving. And if it does, it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. And when things heat up fast in the crypto space, they heat up fast, and we could push the new all-time highs and well beyond a lot sooner than people think. Now, I'm not making this video to say that, hey, Bitcoin's going to make new all-time highs early 2024. Now, it could, but truthfully, I don't know if that's going to happen, okay? But I think the bigger picture is that we have to challenge the assumptions that everybody has. And, markets kind of have a way of doing things that nobody expects. And so you have to understand that. And the best thing that you can do is be prepared for the massive upside opportunity. regardless of when it's going to happen. You have to be prepared and not wait and get caught off guard. And so if that's the case, then what can you do? Well, the best way to make it in the crypto space is to become a blockchain developer. Now, whether you're trying to change your career and work in the industry, create your own bots, whatever your goal is, the best time to do all that is now so that you can capitalize on all the massive opportunity whenever the space gets crazy again. That's exactly what I did during the last crypto bear market, and it paid off handsomely. So if you want to get ahead of the next crypto wave, then what can you do? Well, of course, you can smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. But if you want the fast track to doing this, then I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.